Hey, Paula, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I can't hear you very well.
Is this better?
No.
How about now?
Much better, thank you.
Okay, perfect.
Hey, Paula, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I can't hear you very well.
Is this better?
No.
How about now?
Much better, thank you.
Okay, perfect.
Bringing things in.
Well, you certainly dress for the weather.
But now I have to put my black robe on.
Oh, and it's polyester too.
No doubt.
Ugh.
All right, now I have my robe on, so I'm officially judged. However, I forgot the computer, so.
It's the heat. The important thing is, did you bring your
the
water?
Second I put the robe on, I forgot the computer.
Did you bring some water?
All right. All right, that's bizarre. Oh. So we are meeting today on the estate of Roy Durkee, 21-PR-07286. It is July 15th, which I will consider the Ides of July. Present in the courtroom, we have Wendy and Durkee. On WebEx, we have Ms. McCann. Do we have Lori Jean Durkee on WebEx?
I don't know who Addison is. I sent a message, but I didn't get a response.
There's somebody here with initials AD. Who are you?
That
Addison.
actually is me. I didn't realize I'd put Addison in that. I thought I was putting in the, I had to reboot everything. WebEx wouldn't come up, so I had to uninstall it and reinstall it real quick. So
Okay, so that's Ms. Packard, is that right?
yes.
Okay, so I think that our register can relabel you in WebEx so you don't look like AD. But I think I can remember that long enough. And PR, for anybody on the screen, stands for probate register, and that's Pam Bassett, who is here in the courtroom, here running the equipment. Now it says LP. So, we are here on the accounting that was filed back in, I think it is May 14th.
May 19th,
And
I
it
believe.
was May 19th? Okay. Well, I think there's pieces of it that were filed as early as the 14th. The summary of account and motion to allow was filed on the 14th. And then later, the attorney's invoices were filed on the 19th. In any event, this was set for hearing earlier and continued due to a difficulty on, I believe it was Ms. McCann's end. Ms. Packard has filed a pile of objections back in May to it, and then again on the 15th. I will say I have looked at the ones filed on the 15th, but Ms. Packard, if you file things the day of the hearing or the day before the hearing, they're not likely to be considered seriously because people don't have time to object. Largely those objections that you filed earlier today, I guess it is, they're largely the same objections, perhaps a little bit more clearly stated that you had filed back in May.
No, there are several different ones, and actually they were filed yesterday morning, but I looked and there was no date when I was supposed to have them in for, so. And it took me a little bit longer than I had intended to because I was sick for a month, out of work sick for a month, but since you've seemed to favor everybody else's illnesses and give them extensions and seem to ignore mine, I didn't bother asking for another one.
All right, I'm going to be really clear with both parties here. When a hearing is set, anything related to that hearing must be filed not less than a week prior to the hearing. That's going to apply to Ms. Packard, it's going to apply to Ms. McCann, because the court cannot review that. And Ms. Packard, I recall you objecting to holding a hearing on the 22nd of May, which ultimately got continued on the motion from Ms. McCann, but you were objecting to that hearing as not giving you enough time when the original documents were filed a little more than a week before that hearing, and then some subsequent documents a little closer.
Actually,
So
what
I
I
wanna be
said
very
is when I
clear.
was sick, each time I've been sick and asked for a continuance, you've denied it. Every time everybody else has been sick, you've granted it. That was what I stated.
You don't need to repeat yourself. Can you turn the volume down on Ms. Packard? Thank you. I can hear you quite well, Ms. Packard. So we've just turned the volume down in the courtroom so that it doesn't get heard in the rest of the courthouse. So I'm just saying for the future, that is the rule. All filings must be filed at least a week in advance. So, Ms. Packard, I just want to explain to you a little bit about what an accounting is. The accounting always has to start with the inventory balance and move on from there. So one of your objections to the accounting is that the real estate is undervalued. That doesn't happen. The value of the real estate will not change in this case until it is sold. Is it currently still for sale?
No, they took it out of that about a year ago. Wendy would not allow her realtor to lower the price to sell it, and refused to continue the contract with her.
That's actually not accurate concerning the court's order to list for a set period of time and then move to auction. We listed it for a set period of time. There were no offers. We came back to the court. The court issued an order that we find a realtor and relist the property, and we had to agree on a realtor. And I gave a status report to the court and Ms. Durkee back in May that Rhonda Nash, who is a realtor, would take the listing. I have not heard anything from Ms. Packard about whether she agrees to Ms. Nash. I was hoping to get that agreement today. The other issue, Judge Marsh, is that real estate agents feel that they should be the ones setting the price. And so the issue became, we need to look at what property is selling for now. And the court had set a price for sale, I think, or at least you had set a floor.
No.
So we are happy to go to Ms. Nash as long as she is agreeable and acceptable to Ms. Packard. She's more than happy to take it on, but Roxanne Emilio is not willing to participate any further.
Number one, Your Honor, I have no idea what paperwork Ms. McCann's talking about. I have not seen anything related to a request to bring a new realtor on. Additionally, I've talked to Roxanne, and she did want to keep it, so I'm not sure where Ms. McCann's getting her information from, but Roxana had already spent her own money on advertising and everything, and she did want to go ahead and relist it to see if she could sell it and recoup some of her losses.
I'm not seeing anything in the file, Ms. McCann, about Rhonda Nash, unless it was stuck on something else.
I thought I offered some type of update
No, Your Honor.
for my motion to continue.
No, Your Honor, I've never received anything like that.
Let me look at your motion to continue the hearing and see what that
The only
says.
thing it says is that Wendy and her partner had some sort of a military event to go to. But no, in answer to the question, I am not willing to go to Miss Nash. I would like to go back to Roxana. She's at least familiar with everything. She knows what she's already tried for pricing, and as I said, she's already spent her money, so she should have a right to recoup some of her expenditures.
Oh, I ask that the court hear the motion, and decide the matter so we can move forward, I believe.
Well, we definitely
And
need
to
to
list
move forward.
relist
That house
the property.
needs to be listed.
It's not a house, Your Honor. It's
I mean-
dilapidated.
Right, the dilapidated trailer and the land and the swampland need to be listed.
Okay.
And I think that in order to move that forward, I am going to assign that to Ms. McCann to arrange the listing agreement with a realtor, because Ms. Wendy Durkee must sign the listing agreement because she's the administrator of the estate. So,
Correct.
I suggest you might want to talk to Roxana Emilo again, but if she, Rhonda Nash, I don't care who you list it, but I want it listed. I want you to file a copy of the listing agreement with the court.
All right.
So that I know it's been listed, because this estate will never get resolved until that property is sold. And no matter what we do on the accounting, nobody's going to get paid until the property is sold. So,
Correct.
So, Your Honor,
Has the scrap metal been sold yet?
no. Your Honor, we have some additional issues. Mrs. Packard is fluent with her frivolous motions that my husband and I then need to pay out of our funds to respond to.
okay, now that's an issue on the accounting, so we'll take that up in a bit. So, my order, I will do a follow-up order as I usually do in my hearings. I'm going to order Ms. McCann to identify the listing agent and get a listing agreement signed within 2 weeks. And the signing has to be done by Ms. Wendy Durkee.
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor. We can get that done.
And I will say, although I will not put in my motion, that the parties, Ms. Packard and Ms. Durkee, must agree upon a contract. But if there's a reasonable offer that's made and one of the parties declines the offer, I want an immediate motion to be filed for me to consider whether the court is going to order an offer. I'm not going to put that in the order, because if the order becomes public, I don't want that to cause any reduction in price. But I'm orally telling you both, and I'm putting it in my notes. And what is a reasonable offer? I don't know what a reasonable offer is. I would probably, for a hearing, want to hear from the real estate agent what the offer is and whether they think it's reasonable and why, and then allow discussion of that at a hearing. I will be away from August 5th to August 20th, so I can't hold any hearings during that time.